I got up at about 3:15 a.m. Slept for about, I don't know, 3.5, 4 hours. My son woke up, but I think he fell back to sleep. My mom and Julie are upstairs because we're up in Grand Rapids. My son woke up, but I think he fell back to sleep. Hold on, we gotta turn this down. Julie are upstairs because we're up in Grand Rapids. My son woke up, but I think he fell back to sleep. Sorry, I got this on the screen behind me. There we go. But we've got the start to the morning. It looks like we could start a possible sneaky reversal. Now there's no guarantee, but the way we've come back down from $1.68 or 65, either we're gonna round back here and we're gonna pull up now, or we're gonna continue to just drop right back down and fall out. Now, with such a big drop down, I mean that's a pretty big drop, and we did more than a 50% retracement. Oh, close to. We've got like a shoulder, head, shoulder if it wants to pull back, but that's a better than 13.5% pull down from the top in one day. So what would I expect today? I'd expect to pull back up a little bit probably. We're back above the golden cross in the hourly. In the 2-hourly, we're fighting the 200-day back across the 20-day. This seems like we cleared out perfectly to have it. So basically we had an inverse head and shoulders breakout, back test. This should be an entry point if it holds. Like literally, if let's do this again. If you were not in the entry, I'm going to go why. Obviously, if this breaks down, it's going to be catastrophic. But this technically seems like the back test / re-entry point. But you can't confirm anything. We thought it would dive down in the 4-hourly. This shouldn't have been in the 2. But you see how we had this diving down? That's what we were expecting rather than a climb up, because even a climb up would have triple top there. And we've been showing history in XRP. It double tops, comes back down, recycles, and comes back. And it kind of looks like, unless we drop back down to double bottom in the stochastic RSI, which is very possible, especially on a Monday morning, it's going to be interesting this morning to see if we can get any kind of steam. Because technically, we're fighting a battle here where we've retested, and I don't know where the exact layer would be. Maybe it could come down all the way to $1.40 if it doesn't hold right here or whatever. But in reality, we do the intro, and then I'll explain this. Good morning. 5:16 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Monday, February 16th, 2026. I'm XRP Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So what we'd be talking about is come down, create a shoulder, create a head, create a shoulder, push out, back test to move out. I mean, it seems like this would be the standard operating procedure going forward. Now, the one thing we could do, if we wanted to shoot back down, we could come. I don't know if I want to come back to $1.34, though, I'll be honest. I think that's too overzealous of a retracement. But I've seen worse things. I've seen crazier things in crypto and in trading. But it does seem like we're back testing the breakout of the inverse head and shoulders and trying to put in a bottoming formation right here at about $1.40. Maybe $1.44.6. I know we're up to $1.49.5-ish. But these are the kind of things that could start off like hot when the USA gets up. And then as we get into Tuesday, Wednesday, could slow down. The futures is interesting at best. Because when it came online, it didn't have the optic. That's why I still think this is a shot that could happen. The futures didn't have the ability to come up to that $1.65 over the weekend. It was closed. And by the time it opened back up, XRP was sub 150. So it was only able to push up to $1.47, and now it's breaking out. Now, does that mean, because of how that gap worked out and how the weekend worked out, that this is going to give us a further ability to push out maybe a little bit farther here? It's very possible here in this early morning. I say it's kind of interesting only having like 40 people in here, because I can see all the comments very clearly now, which is kind of nice, actually. I noticed like 15 people have come in and left already, which makes 0 sense. If you're a fan of XRP and you don't want to hear the charts, especially free, from a very accurate standpoint, you're definitely missing out. I don't know why you would come in and leave. I mean, this is where we're at right now. You either understand this or you don't. There's no two ways about it. Anyhow, we do have a top here where over the short term when it did this, we just want to push past that $1.54, but it's opening up the door for something interesting this morning, like a 4 to 6% surge if we can hold these areas. $1.40 worst case, wick to $1.38, but we don't even want to come down there. We'd be better off holding where we're at right now and trying to make a play back up here. Otherwise, you run the risk of putting a head and shoulders topping reversal. If we look across the board, we've got algo down 0.75%. I mean, is this putting in like a bear flag? Trying to come back maybe to the uptrend? We're starting to get to a point where if we run down any lower in some of this, that we're going to run the risk of these bear flags playing out. And then this is just going to bring us down another. And this is the risk this morning. If this doesn't play out and we have to come down farther, you've got a little bear flag here that'll bring you down a good 5-6% farther if this doesn't hold. And I suppose that's the optic here this morning. Now, could XRP run differently than some of them because of how it ran? It could, even if the rest of the market fell. But this is I mean, I haven't seen a start out like this on a Monday in a while. Like, look at XDC, perfectly going AB, the artificial push up, fake out into C, back test the inverse pattern. Like, you've got down to a shoulder, head, shoulder, back test. Now, is this a topping? Or is this where it starts to layer out and finishes this C wave, much like XRP did? And does that mean if this is behind, that XRP's in 3 of 5? I don't know. That's what we're trying to examine this morning. And there's no way of knowing until we see how this next part plays out, in the next few hours. Other than that, it's a guessing game. It's a guessing game. So what's the audience saying? The few that are here, because it's only 5:20 a.m. CJ2 Pilot, good morning, and thanks for being in town for over 2 years with the XP 589 Moon Badge, along with Emerson. 3-month time still bearish, right? So if we run up, yes, that's the optic. But if we did get above $1.77, that could open up a new narrative, especially if we get over that $2 and about 3 cents. But yeah, overtly bearish still in the micro time frames, like the 3-month and in. If we can't get past an invalidate, first area is that $1.56. So, I mean, we could also have a layering point here with XRP, where even if it can't get up into the higher zones, that maybe it would come back up to the descending triangle and validate that is an overall rejection. I'm seeing similar patterns forming with like H-bar and the others, but we also have to pay attention. Is this a head and shoulders that form? Because if that's a bear flag, it's a problem. But I still see inverse shoulder, head, shoulder, which could help us invalidate this and actually use this as a consolidation period. But it's impossible to say right now. The one good news is we're over where that golden cross could potentially form here in the 4-hourly, where it's formed in some smaller time frames. So, we're not overtly dead yet. It's not like we're dead in the water. It's just you got to pay very close attention, because if this doesn't pull up, it's going to be a bear flag. And if it's a bear flag, well, nobody wants that. That's no fun. We would be starting off Monday morning on the shit side of town, which, it's not impossible. We found ourselves in that area many, many times. Let's see, Bitcoin up 70, down $49, 68,736. It's another area that's, if this is a topping reversal and this puts in a shoulder here, you'll know if we get rejected at 69. It does show symptoms of a shoulder, head, shoulder back test, just like some of the others, and that's why you can have optimism. Like, you come into a shoulder, head, shoulder. So, we'll see. We'll see if this was a fake out back down over the weekend, heading back into Monday morning, and then it just cleared out some gap areas. or if we continue to pull down. The one thing with the futures market, I mean, it wasn't that bad, though. I mean, we closed at about $1.41, I believe, on Friday. And by the time it opened, like I said, we were way down. I don't remember exactly how low it got when it got open. I think it came down to about 145. Well, you can see this candle right here where it started. I mean, this seems like the way it came back down does not leave it completely bearish to start the morning. It's so interesting how it did that. On Saturday, it finished out that C wave. And then by the time the futures came online, it almost set itself up in a spot where we could, in fact, make a move out. I wasn't necessarily expecting this when it did this. But once it did, I started looking at it. And we were talking, me and MQ in the Telegram yesterday. And we were discussing these, and I was looking at it all night, looking at it. And there's the potential here, and there is a gap. You know, there is a noticeable gap. But, I don't know. Because if we fall out here, that's a head and shoulders. That's the tricky part here. That is the tricky part here, if I may say so myself. And I will. I think that's the tricky part. What do you guys think? Honestly. If you're looking at this morning, do you think we're just going to fall out? Because we very well could. Or do you think we're going to end up pulling this up right now in the early AM? Let's see. Bounce, where is this? Bounce back, good morning. Thanks for being in Times 3+ months with the XP Meteor. Ben Graham, good morning. Crypto Plumber, thanks for being in Times 6+ months with the XP Predictor. Mosey here, over 2 years. XRP 589 Moon Badge. We've got Dana, welcome in. Thank you for tuning in. Dana and Noel, good morning. Kirsten, welcome in, and thanks for being in Times for over 1 year at the I Told You So Badge. William Hayes, over 6 months. Mark Smith, over 3 months. Good morning to all of you. Schools are closed, Mr. Tom. Are we still doing class today? Hope so. Yeah, I'm trying to decide the exact time frame. I'm deciding if my mom and Julie are going to be able to take my son while I do the class. I'll see how everything's going this morning. But I do plan on doing it one way or the other today. So I do plan on doing it one way or the other. Absolutely. I'm hopeful that I'll be able to do it at 12. But we shall see. Is XRP diving now? Very well could be. Let's see. 148.44. Rest of the market. I mean, it's tricky right now. It is really tricky right now. What I would probably look for if I was looking for an actual entry now, because we know Monday mornings can be a little ugly when we get into the morning. This looks like a bear flag. So unless this gets above here, there's no reason to try to enter the market right now. You know, it's tough. It is very tough, but the way it's set up. I mean, XDC is starting to push out here, which is nice. But XDC also didn't have that big last wave either, and it corrected instead of going way up. But it is getting rather extended in the shorter time frame. We'll see. It's so oversold in the 4-hourly. Nice reversal candle, it looks like. Stochastic crossed over. It's tough. It is really tough this morning because a lot of these, it's almost like we're trying to tease a reversal here. I can't explain it, but it's like, it almost looks like we're teasing a reversal. See what the total crypto market cap looks like. Looks very similar to XRP. Now that could be a squeeze back down. I suppose it could come to 2.29 if it rolled down. And nah, you don't want to come that far. If we're going to rotate, this is probably your best opportunity. Otherwise, we could risk this actually turning into a... We could have this turn into a pretty ugly situation quickly. Like that's the scenario here. We've got, I know it's President's Day today, so the market's not going to trade as normal. It's so tricky. It's just the way it dumped down gives me in my own head, I'm like, the way this bounced down, let's see what gold and silver and the dollar's doing. Dollar's up 0.12%. The 10 years down 5 basis points or 1.22% to 4.05. Oil opened up pretty flat. This one down 4.5 cents. Platinum's down 1.73% to 2,041. Gold's down about 0.75% or pretty close to 5,006, but back over 5K. Gold silver ratio at 64.7. Gold or silver's down about 0.17% to $77.19, down about 16 cents an ounce. Nothing incredibly terrible. USDT dominance is down 0.05% to $7.89. Now that if we're crossing back over and we have to come back down to at least get some support, this could open up the door for a little bit of movement. Let's see. We'll try to measure out a movement for XRP on the consolidator. I don't even want to do it like this. I think it's better like this. Because then we can get that quick, okay, got a resistance. Let's see how it reacts. Oh boy. Oh, well, never mind. If this plays out, we're fucked. Is that a descending wedge? For the love of God. Fuck. That might be a decent. Shit. This is gonna be a very interesting morning. I tell you what, this is not gonna be for the faint of heart this morning. This is not going to be for the faint of heart. What do you guys think about the dominance chart real quick? I mean the USDT chart, the USDT dominance. Is that putting in a bullish consolidation right there? Which, the good news is if it is, it could still come back down to 748. But if it breaks out from here, I mean, we're going maybe a double top even. Thank you. I'll stay tuned, North. Hey, I don't disagree with that. Liquidity is gonna have to find a certain market. I hate how TradingView puts that little purple symbol for the coin news right down there on the latest volume. Oh, I know it's stupid. I don't know why they do that on the latest one, but it is pretty stupid. I agree with that. Crypto plumber volume is scary. I agree. No, while it's dropping. Yeah, I mean, you can go into the stuff and do it, but then they just put it right back. I've learned to take the abuse in crypto financially. Nothing phases. Oh, I know. That's one benefit. If you can get through crypto, you can pretty much get through anything. Isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth? Ugh. That light is bouncing off and hit me right in the eye. And you see how it's hit my glasses? And my left eye is so bad from the keratoconus that the light really does bother it. I mean, let's see. There's really no pattern though, except if this is either it bottomed out here and we're going to come back up and maybe hit this again at $1.56 or maybe even up $1.62. There's a gap at $1.70, but if we rotate down, I mean, are we really going to go up and not back test the neckline after coming all the way back down here? That's the problem that I kind of have right now. It is set up though for a it is really set up across the market for strangeness this morning. Now, if algo pulls down this morning, maybe a possibility would be to come up and attack this right here. But I mean, if these are bear, you guys tell me, do you think that's a bear flag setting up there? And if so, let's see. This bear flag would take us down, and that would send us below that part of the pattern. Now, what could this possibly be if it does something like this? Trying to see what makes the most freaking sense. I mean, could I see it doing something like this? Oh, I hope not. That would almost look like a continuation of a descending triangle, possibly. Ew, you don't want to see that. Forget I just drew that. I was trying to draw it in a descending fashion, but that almost looks too... There, we'll do it like that. There. But then look how far that would come down. I don't know. That's really tempting fate if it comes all the way down. We would be tempting fate in a real strong way if it comes down there and trying to hold. That's why in my head I'm thinking maybe XDC is showing us like that reversal may just happen. Like it consolidates the first layer. Nice W reversal right on the back test too. Not all of them look like XDC though. Where would you get confirmation on XRP? Let's see. See some of the shorter patterns. So we can try to find some kind of consolidation, some kind of... I mean, that's over the top where, I mean, you would have to get to. If this invalidates, we're going to come down to the 86. It's zero question. It's just we put in the shoulder, head, shoulder, back testing. Like it gives us the optic here. Hey, I'm all for optics. You know why? Because without the optics, we'd be screwed right now. Yes, I would like to be over this area. Zero question. If we get over that area, good. It's ironic that we hit that resistance right there, but it's not the end of the world yet. This is almost like a stationary resistance. Maybe we are starting something like this. I mean, maybe we are. Maybe it is starting something like this. What do I know? Maybe it evolved into something like that. I just don't want to deal with that all the way back down. But I mean, that's a rather absurd drop too, because that would get you back and retest that $27, but that's below the $34, which you don't really want to come down there. We don't, but then again, if we're going to double bottom down here, in theory, if we get a rejection on the stochastic, we could come right back down and retest it, but we're starting to run out of what ifs. What ifs? How do we hold this? You know, we don't want to keep going down to the what if section. So I keep looking at the rest and be like, can we draw some parallel with something? I do see a couple that to me look like they were attempting to possibly make it look like a bear flag, but with how oversold it is in stochastic, it gives me the optic that this was a shoulder, head, shoulder, breakout, back test. Shoulder, head, shoulder, back test to move out, push up, back test the shoulder area maybe is what's going on. It's a compelling, super compelling case right now. Because if this is what breaks out, I mean, you're talking about, you know, it broke up, back test. You're trying to put this in. If this is a bear flag, it brings you right back down here, and then you would retest the back test of the back test. But you're still over this area. Could give a flush scenario to clear out the shorter time frames. Could throw the USA off in the morning, but then again, not everybody's going to be in the standard routine because it's President's Day. I didn't realize it until somebody brought it up yesterday in something in one of my pieces of content. Yep, I agree, Biotech. That's exactly what I was looking at, that $1.56. To see if we would retest the descending triangle in this kind of setup. Because you do have a cup and handle on that inverse pattern. I absolutely agree with that. We haven't even got into that yet. But I can see that too, and then it looks like it's putting in some kind of cup. And if this ends up being a cup, it absolutely warrants getting up there. At least to it. This almost would warrant $1.77 though to fill out the bigger cup, wouldn't it? Isn't there a bigger cup up here if it decided? Somewhere around $1.77, which is ironic because that's the gap area. This whole thing doesn't make sense. This whole thing doesn't, it reeks. This reeks of a sneaky move. Now, there's no guarantees in life, you know, but it does reek of a sneaky move. And I'll be the first to say it reeks of a sneaky move. I just said it again. It's reeking of a sneaky move, I tell you. Just because it reeks, does it play out? I don't know. But certainly reeks. It's clearing out the shorter time frames right now, so let's see. Let's see what it decides, entry-wise, or if there's any opportunity. Man, that is compelling as hell. Because even this little uptrend, you might have started a higher low scenario, even in the smaller time frames. And we'll see what that means. So if this is a low, right about $1.44, that's a higher low at $1.45. As long as we don't break that little trend, which is your friend, until broken, which also gives the optics of, if it's a trend that we've discovered and it's your friend, where would the third bounce be? This morning, we would probably come back down and retest that $1.45 area. Well, we might not have to. But in theory, as long as it holds that, but I think it would. I think in the morning what would happen, let's look at the rest of the charts. I think in the morning we'd have that pull down we talked about. And then if it pulls down and we can hold that, that's where I think we could attack. Now, XDC could very well be laying the foundation of what we're going to see in a few hours. Because it already back tested, but I think the ladder movements from the rest, they haven't done that yet. So we'll watch XDC and see what it shows us. But I do think you have to be ultra careful with like Algo, with some of the other ones, just because of the formation they're showing. So there's no harm, and I'll tell everybody when I feel like the confirmation's been met, but I could see this being a topping reversal, being a bear flag in the short term, you know, and then playing out in that fashion. So let's approach it like that. Like it's going to do that. Let's not get overzealous and be like, we got to get into entries right now. Let's see how the morning plays out. You know, I want the audience not to get themselves trapped before we get the validation. And honestly, that's the way I would like to approach it. I think that would be the best way to do this and not get yourself into a lot, not just all of us. I mean, like, not getting ourselves into a spot where we're like, oh, well, I don't want this entry. You know, I would rather wait until, yeah. So I'll be watching this all day. I do think it's rather compelling, though, how we're set up. It's just, it would make more sense if we got a quick shuffle. It really would. If we get a quick shuffle here, it would make a lot of sense to come back down and hit this area now in the short term. Just see what happens. I'm very intrigued right now to see it play out. I got nowhere to go. I'm up here in Grand Rapids for my son's treatment. So, you know, is what we deal with the most ideal situation? No. But we make it work. You know, me and Julie, we make it work. And then is it ideal to have the charts like this? No, but we're going to make it work. See, when life throws you a heartache, the charts are easy. When you deal with stuff outside of the charts, that is a lot different. So this doesn't faze me. This whole thing, let's see what I have to the side right now on Kraken. Sorry. Yeah, there's a decent... Well, let's see what XDC in reality. So, what I think, assuming this does correct a little bit more, I could see us come down here because that 45 in the hourly showed us that we might be topping in the area. And we had to see what kind of consolidation we were in, remember? So, after falling back down, Support 1, support 2, resistance 1, 2. If we come back down to support 2 now, or support 3, the possibility could be if that $1.44 area, $1.45 holds, that could be the point where it tells us that this is reversing. Otherwise, if we break through there, it could tell us these bear flags to play out. I wouldn't touch this yet. Especially leverage, I wouldn't touch it. You're going to put yourself through the wall. You put yourself through the wall. I got to reconnect this. It logged me out because it's stupid as hell. After like a minute or two, it just logs out. So stupid. So I forget, and then I have to log back in. It's fucking dumb. But anyhow, that's okay. That's what happens when you're not at home and you're 4 hours away. But I feel blessed that I get to still do these lives, that you guys can see it. You know, being up so early and even having people watch is great. When I used to do this when I first started and I get up this early, there'd be 3 people in here. 50 people was kind of nice. I start and I get up this early, there'd be 3 people in here. Let's see. Let me pull up this chat. Here we go. Perfect. Now you guys are back in view. Do you follow the moon phase patterns? The new moon and the start of eclipse season is tomorrow. It's also yes, actually. So that makes a lot of sense for us to come down today on President's Day as well and finish this corrective. I would like to see us personally come down to $1.41 on XRP and clear out that CME that we created Friday. I mean, we're close. We're so close right now to coming down there. You know, I would love to see us do that personally. That's what I want to see. A clear out, shuffle this out another about 6%, and then let us go from there. We'd be significantly oversold in the smaller time frames and it'd clear out the 2 hour and down, or 1 hour and down. That got rather overbought. There's no guarantee that plays out, but that's what I would like to see. Otherwise, I mean, you're taking a gamble to try to enter here, but one could argue that maybe it put in a double bottom. I don't necessarily like the way it's set up, but I've not liked things before and still thought it was going to do something. So let's see, because it's possible we're almost in like a symmetrical triangle, but these are neutral continuations, and the fact that it almost looks like a bear flag, or it's on such a downturn of about 14%. Although that's XLM, but it's relatively the same downturn as XRP. Because it was way up here. So if you look at this in real time, and XLM is the one that's going to be the most comparative to XRP. XRP came down 14%. XLM was about 10. Right now it's down 8.7. And a continuation from here would get, I mean, This is it's like every time you try to draw a parallel and be like, okay, it's going to go up from here. You look at how trash the setup is with the volume and you're like, well, let me hold off. Let's see if we'll come down there. Nobody wants to hear about it. So, I mean, that could bring us to 16.1 if this plays down. What's down at 16.1 on XLM? Just out of curiosity. I'm just curious. I mean, that is so fucking crazy. Because that would be the back test of the shoulder, head, shoulder breakout test. That's exactly what this would be the test at the body. That does happen quite often. This is, I mean, if we're looking at evidence, how can you fight City Hall? How can you fight the technicals? That looks like the back test, almost if you want to call that an artificial neckline coming across where the V was as well to kind of give you validation right there. You could theoretically back test that because 3 times up got rejected. It'd be appropriate to have a back test, and that drop would give you the exact back test. It almost would be a disservice not to come back down there at this point. Because if it does the disservice of going up here, oh, it's going to be brutal. Because then it's going to go up just to come back down and fill this gap area, and it's going to suck. Knowing crypto, maybe that is what's going to happen instead. Maybe that'll happen first. just to piss us off. You know? So, a lot of things I'm looking at this morning. A lot of things. Like I said, optimistic that we can hold this and not lose $1.40 and then end up going and fill that CME at $1.70 from a few weeks ago. David, thanks for being in Times under 6+ months with the XP Predictor. Says, how's Little Man? And you're awesome. Thank you for everything. Oh, I appreciate that. Little Man's doing good. He woke up a little earlier. He fell asleep about 9:30, 10. Woke up at 3:30. He's pretty much, he should be back asleep now. My mom and Julie are up there sleeping. They were up for a second, but I got up at 3 when everybody was up. But he's doing good. He's got his appointment with the surgeon today for the every 3-month checkup. They'll change out his G-tube, his button. He's got the mini one. He doesn't have a Mickey, but he's got the mini one, it's called. So they'll be doing that at 1:30, 1 or 1:30. So I got to see how everything's going. If everything's good, I'll just let my mom and Julie take them. And then I'll do my class at the normal 12 o'clock. If everything's not going good, I go pretty much every time. So it would be a little different, but it all depends how things are going. Preferably, I would like to do my class at 12 o'clock. And I'm a very time-oriented person. So it would rub me the wrong way not to be there at 12. But then again, can't help, medical. But anyhow, continuing. JBH, welcome. And do you think IOTA will still go down more? Let's see how IOTA looks. Yeah, if the rest of the market went down, but this is where we're talking about a possible... If it doesn't hold this, it's a bear flag. If it doesn't hold that, it's a bear flag. And yeah, it would come down more. If this ends up being a bear flag, I mean, this would be a little bit of a drop here. And I mean, it seems like, well, how could it drop anymore? Look how cheap it already... I know. It's the thing that sucks about bear markets. That would put you at about 6 foot. That's not a horrible drop from there, but it would finish off this little topping reversal. Because right now it's in a shoulder area. They're all like that. Except XDC because of how it collected itself. So that's like 7% if we pull down. Seems pretty standard, just like XRP if it pulled down. Just like we did it at the 200-day. Hold on. Or the 20-day rejection. So let's do it the same here. Let's pull this up then and say it's at the 20-day. This is how you just project into the future if you do get movement. And then you get some kind of a movement here. And then even if it's bearish, it should go 886 to somewhere around where X marks the spot, or maybe a little bit lower to 9.5. But that does represent a movement of better than, I mean, that's a nice little swing there of 8%. And then the trend's your friend. Buy support, sell resistance. So we didn't know where the support was yet until now. And it might only be the second in the pattern. So because we had such a downtrend, it's not a real support. Downtrend, not a real support. Downtrend, obviously fell out. Came back around. Support, resistance. Now if it holds here, you'd have a second support. And then you could confirm some kind of movement. I don't necessarily think this would hold right here. It's not far enough. Just because it came up here to hold here. Now, unless it's creating a short-term inverse shoulder, head, shoulder in the short term, then it could hold. That's why that uptrend's important. But either way, we got to figure it out. So it means that 9.2, either way, is going to likely fall, which is about, what, 3.5% from where we're at or so? Hold on. Because it's starting to fall in real time, and this kind of sucks because I'm trying to draw it before it happens. I know we talked about it earlier, so it's not a surprise. It might be a surprise for some because some are going to wake up and be like, what do you mean he's already been on for 40 minutes at 5:53 a.m.? Well, what the hell? There's no way I could be up. And I agree, some. Where are we at? Shit. Let me get rid of some of this. But the beauty of it is you can watch it back on replay. There's always that option. It's not the same. I get it. But in replay, you can also fast forward if you're bored. This doesn't look good. And at least this micro, this immediate short term when US wakes up. Minimum, that's 2.5, but if it plays that out entirely, it's about 6.7% from where we're at. If we look at the short term with the stochastic, 2 hourly's oversold, but it looks like it's rotating back down. Hourly's pulled back down. It went way overbought real quickly. Double top in the 45. 30 minutes just kind of consolidating down. 3 hourly's looks like it's almost at the rejection point. Daily's overbought, which is a problem. Weekly is oversold, which is good. Monthly is massively oversold, which is even better. So XDC, if you look at it the same way, oversold in the monthly. Weekly's pushing up. Daily, overbought. Almost looks like it's double top now. 4 hourly is pushing up, but now that the daily looks the way it does, we'll see if this... But then again, with the daily where it's at, you almost would rather the daily be an overbought because that's showing support in the smaller zones. And if it can stay up there, that could show a sustained rally. So it's not necessarily a bad thing, especially with the weekly and monthly, is it's just, do we have volume to support this? Let's see in the daily. Nothing. Like there's nothing. That's a reversal pattern. Now this would be the confirmation candle unless we can reverse, and that's what we're trying to do. Every time we try to get a confirmation candle, we get a couple bullish, little bit. Now, I don't think that is considered the 3 candle movement because of how severe the wick pull downs are. But you could definitely see if this is a 3 candle shuffle after a fake out, hold, hold, hold with higher highs and higher lows until this one broke the mold. And that could be the fake out. Otherwise, if it's not breaking the mold, this is showing you the so tough. So tough. I like talking it out with everybody, though. Nice. So nice. Bitcoin, even. Again, we have to get over this resistance. That's, you know, another optic here that is not the greatest thing in the world right now. But we'll see how this candle plays out. Right now, it's a validation candle because we haven't broke anything. We're just rejecting in the daily. So 4 hourly came back up, hourly came back up, but it's kind of losing steam. And the fact that the stochastic is so overbought right now in the hourly tells me that coupled with the volume could very well mean that we don't have enough sustainability in the area to push out just yet. A rejection here would be a bear flag, and it would be either a right shoulder here, and the end move would be likely to come down into that area somewhere around, oof. I mean, you really don't want to lose 66. The liquidity box is down to 65.1, but in reality, you want to come back up in here and hold this. Otherwise, you invalidate this movement. We had a golden cross in the shorter time frames that is on the verge of being invalidated with the rejection on the way back up. And that bear flag would bring you down. It's about the measurement of the flagpole that it would bring you down. So you're looking at a continuation of about 3.7%. Could be a rocky start if that played out. Conversely, it's what we talked about at the opening. If we can play this as a reversal, and it doesn't have to correct here, which it could be tricky because in the stochastic we broke bearish a little bit. So now we have to see how this plays out. We got 17 minutes to see if we can overtake this in some way. Otherwise, if this candle ends up somewhere down at around about under $1.40, let's just say under $1.48.6, that's a problem. That would be a problem. We got about 15 minutes left in that candle. If we can close over, well, it's gonna take a little trek to get over this. But at some point, we need to get over that $1.51 in this area. If it drags on until about noon today, it'd be about $1.50.2, which In the USA, I could see it straddling until, noon, 1 o'clock, even if it wants to move, do something. I would like to see it bounce here, do this, and then bounce out. It doesn't have to go right here, but anything. I would like to see it fill out this 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, break out on the third time is what I would like to see. Now that we hit that rejection. But what I want and what happens doesn't usually work out. Plus, I don't want to get thrown into an incinerator today. I want the people who like XRP to come in and be like, well, at least we know what's going on. If it takes the up route and then it just keeps the bottom route open, I mean, that could be a problem. Because then you get a lot of people trapped without that support touch. But I wouldn't be surprised if it did push up. I really wouldn't. It's just, I want to make sure that it clears some hurdles first before. Like I said, XDC could be what's defining the moment here. And right now it's doing just fine, in fact. But XDC also, after it came down to this first layer, that bear flag played out and it formed the W. So if the rest of them play out like this, it came right into this area, literally. It came to that first area. Let's see how that forms with XRP. I would be curious. Nope, XRP put that W in too, so maybe we are in the same spot. Because you could say that first area bear flag is right here. Played down, tried to put a W in, and now this could be a sneaky reversal. Let's see how some of these other ones did. Short, tried to make a recovery. V-chain. What's going on here? Come on, V-chain. This didn't play down yet. Not saying it's going to. It's extended out, but if this extends out any farther, that's a neutral continuation pattern, how it's set up. Just if we're being honest with ourselves, and the way that it was trending was down because of the drop on this consolidation. So, I mean, these are symmetrical triangles, which are neutral continuation patterns. So if that, I mean, I'm just worried that bear flag could play out. It's no different for XRP either. So, I want to make sure that these don't play out, but this is starting to round now. So the optic would be that's a shoulder into a head, maybe a rounding here, and then we could come out if it doesn't break down. But we know we have this pattern that's starting to form here just like this. It's on the other chart. Whoops. Something like this. Like that. So we have something like that forming. So it would be up to the price to push itself up and get us over that short-term $1.51-ish area, $1.50.6, just depending on what time frame it hits. So I think this is going to be an interesting morning. I think it's going to be an interesting morning. I know XDC was bouncing up, and then it just kind of, it pulls back quick, and it bounces up and pulls down and bounces up and pulls down. And it's just the way that we are in the short term, too, that makes me a little skeptical. Whenever the short term comes up that quick, it means we're probably losing steam in the area, and we've got to figure it out. I'm not saying that means fake out 100%, but that stochastic, the way it's moving up right now, is kind of tricky. I'm all for it, though, everybody. I'm all for it. Jay from X, good morning, and thanks for being in Towns Art for your first month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. Areli, good morning, and thank you so much for tuning in, as always. I love it. I love it. That's funny, Bright Freedom. Yeah, no, I got you guys right into it this morning. I got up at 3. Not by choice. And then I went and did my workout. I worked out for an hour in the gym that's at this hotel. So it's okay. I was able to do something a little bit different than at home. Let's see. Can we continue this? Well, right now we're on the 45. This almost looks like a reversal candle. We'll see, though, because we still have 11 minutes. Let's see how this reacts in 11 minutes. Let's see if this can keep the momentum going to the top side. And, or if we end up pulling ourselves down a little bit. I'll be very curious here. Be very curious, because I would love if the market just kind of... It's tricky. They couldn't have made it any better on a Monday morning. I'll tell you what. People are going to wake up and go, ooh, what's going on here? Unless we get some volume in that I don't know about on this President's Day. Unless we get some volume I don't see coming in. Or that I can't see right now, I should say. I still would like to see the futures market come back down to $1.41 because we have that gap from Friday. Because I think it opened at about $1.44-ish. So we were down to $1.41-ish. Bounce back. That wick in the 4-hourly is pretty telling too as of right now. $1.51 all the way. It's pulling back a lot of that wick too. So that's why this is the action moment this morning. Like, no matter when somebody wakes up, they're not going to get a better moment than we've been watching the last almost hour together. This is where the foundation's been laid this morning. These are the candles you need to seek out when you wake up. You wouldn't know it unless you see it happen in real time, but these are the foundational candles. It's either getting a rejection here, or it is very slowly building a base this morning. And we're going to find ourselves on a quick push up, or this bear flag is going to play out. If this bear flag plays out, Bitcoin's going to have no choice but to come down into the 66, 65 area. And would that be too far of a movement down? And would that invalidate what we're trying to build to the top side? Our biggest problem right now is we just got to invalidate this. It's not that big of a push. Bitcoin is trying to put in green in the hourly. It's not that big of a push to retake this area. Literally, it's a retake of 69K. Where are we at right now? It's $300 for Bitcoin. $300. That's all we're talking about. $300. No, I don't think it's a lot to ask. Doesn't seem like a lot to ask. Ethereum's up about 0.8% this morning. Again, they're all kind of dealing with this. Are we running out of steam here? And we have to back test even farther because we have to retake this. Like, you can't even trade this spot right now on most of this. Like, if you're looking at Ethereum, you can't just go, I'm going to buy Ethereum because it's, it's on the outside of the consolidation, which could be a continuation down. But yeah, that seems like a great spot to buy. No, you'd want to buy it up here at 2,100. So you're almost paying a penalty just to get the confirmation that this isn't a further breakdown that could get you down in that $1,590 area. And that was the speculation earlier on this drop, that it could come down around like this, build something like this, and have a descending wedge form. That's what I'm kind of looking for here, because that was the expectation going earlier. So just see what happens here. Let's see if it does form some kind of a descending wedge, because think about it. If it formed a descending wedge, this would almost save the pattern. Instead of forcing it guaranteed down here, a descending wedge would be a bullish consolidation, and that could be the actual head that we're looking for. I'm serious. So if you're wondering why I want certain things to happen, it's because this could legitimately write this pattern into a super bullish one in a heartbeat. It's gonna take about another 20% for Ethereum though to make this happen. I'm not gonna lie about it. It would take about 20% for Ethereum to make this scenario play out, I believe. Might not be that much. Let's see. It definitely is. But it would take that would be an overall market would have to agree to this. Would they do this right now? I don't know. But that's what needs to happen. We want to see a descending wedge. Now, if it's bearish and we're just not going to make a go at it, yeah, it can do whatever it wants. Honestly. It could invalidate this bear flag and just come right back up, use this as an inverse pattern, and then eventually come and meet its own demise. Probably somewhere around that white line. And then it would just end up coming back down anyhow. But then you're looking at a slightly different setup here that you got one shot here to turn this into an extremely bullish pattern. Yeah, would there be short-term pain? It would suck. But liquidity on the sideline would be a blessing right now if that played out. And, you know, until it doesn't, that's what I'm expecting, a further downturn. Unless it surprises me this morning, which I'm all for surprises, folks. I like surprises in a good way. The other, Adam, you know, sir, it is 3 a.m. in California. Correct. And I did my short when it was 3 a.m. in Michigan. Or 3:30, so it was about 12:30. It's been a stellar morning so far. What can I say? Just stellar. But yeah, I don't want anybody to get caught off guard if this did break down. You know, I don't want nobody getting caught off guard. I really don't, because XDC would be rather overextended here as well. There's nothing that's really immune to it. These would all be fake outs this morning to capture our attention as we wake up. And I'm not a trader, so unless I see an opportunity like we seen at the drop of the last part of the market when it set up very identifiable patterns where we're like, okay, these descending wedges are bullish reversals. Unless it does something like that, you know, I'm not interested in the market until it forms me a bullish consolidation again. And right now, I don't know. Right now, it makes me nervous. The market makes me really nervous right now because I see a lot of scenarios where this, in fact, is just going to pull down and we're going to have that big drop. I mean, I showed you in Ethereum what we really need to happen, and that would take a 20 to 25% drop out of Ethereum. You know, and that would warrant XRP going down to 86 cents. Think about it. It would warrant that drop if Ethereum did that. It would be in our best interest for this to happen now instead of going back up. It would be in our best interest. What the hell is this one down to 147 for? How could that one be so out of balance? Unless this one got the liquidity boost first. It received the message before the rest. Let's see. Oh, yeah, it did. Look at that. Sometimes you get that on the exchanges. Look at that heads up it gave you on the other chart. That was a great heads up. I think we're on the money this morning. I really think we're on the money again this morning. I think the market can try to deceive us, but we know what we're looking at. We know what we're looking at. I know we know what we're looking at. You know what we're looking at. I think we all know what we're looking at here. How many people are even here knowing what we're looking at? 69. 69. In my day, that was the 69 was the funny thing. Now in the kids' days, it's 6-7. All I got to hear is that all day. So, and I think it's funny how they do that just to kind of throw us all off. Like juggling the balls. $1.40, absolutely. But are you guys surprised, or did I pretty much lay this out when we first came in here why this should go down? Even though we could come up to those other areas, didn't we lay it down pretty nicely? Why this could come down and the areas we'd want to look at and why you don't want to get trapped this morning and why I said don't buy this movement. I think we're looking pretty good here, understanding what's going on. Until the market tricks us, and it hasn't happened in 5 years. Yes, we've been wrong in micro movements, but the majority of it for 5 years together, we've been on top of this. So as long as it keeps running in a parallel way that we think we understand, we're in good shape. Does this mean it's going to play all the way down? Nope. But it certainly seems like something's starting here. And those are bear flags, symmetrical triangles, and that is a neutral continuation pattern. And seeing the fact that the trend right now was not our friend on the drop, a symmetrical triangle emergence would be a neutral continuation pattern unless it faked us out to the top and breaks out. And technically, the technical target down would be all the way down. Whoa. Oh, boy. Is that what we're looking at? On a breakdown, holy smokes. Okay, well, yeah. That could get ugly. I don't know, with President's Day being today, doesn't it give us one more day of liquidity to fuck retail over, to bend retail over? In a friendly way, of course. Not so friendly, but, you know. I'm seeing a lot of things emerging here. If we don't break out here and Bitcoin just rotates, it's a problem. This is a problem. This is what me and MQ were talking about overnight. Every time we got into some kind of minor bullish talk, it always came back to it looks like shit. We're below the resistance. We're below the pattern consolidation. We form bear flags. Everything doesn't look great. There's no volume. Oh, you should have seen the conversation in the Telegram last night. We were having fun. Anybody who's not in the Telegram or not in Tom's Army, I encourage you, join Tom's Army. And what time were we talking? Until about 10:30. But every time we got into a little conversation, this is MQs. But every time we got into a little discussion there, even in the community chat, every time we got into something, yeah, here's MQ. But every time we got into something, it would always fall back into these, well, this doesn't look great. And I loved how we did this with the markets. And we were talking about different things because the volume aspect doesn't look great. Where was this last part that he shared? That's that chart. I thought there was one more. Am I in the wrong spot? I don't know. I was talking in a bunch of different sections, so I get lost sometimes. Oh, here we go. This is the one. So notice how he's got that box right around that line right around 66,000. This is MQ. I don't think he's here yet in here. But notice how we've got this area of concern. We're not above that 68,800, which is a problem. Supply's way over the top, and look what happened. Instead of the way I look at this is you got supply, you have demand, or you have this, you have supply up there, but supply can very much turn into distribution if there's not enough supply or enough buyers in that area. So the supply can, think about it this way. You have a supply and you go in somewhere and you're expecting to go there. You're losing out. You're dropping off some of the supply. It's being bought up, and you go into an area and you expect to resupply. You expect there to be more supplies there for you to resupply, build your, let's just say, your inventory. Well, when you go into the supply zone, if there's nobody there, and in this case, there would be continued buyers in the supply zone. If there's no continued buyers, it quickly will turn to chaos, and it'll quickly rotate over and turn into distribution to sellers, from buyers to sellers. Just like if you're coming up and you're looking for a resupply, just look at your COD, look at your video games for anybody in my audience who plays shooting games or anything like that, or, adventure games where you have to kind of grind it out and get everything you need to find, but you're looking for a resupply. Well, when you go there, your gun's out of ammo and you're going to resupply, and you grab the clip, but there's no bullets in it. Well, this is great. Now we're screwed. You've gone into battle with no bullets. That's what's happening here. We went into the supply zone with no buyers. What was deemed a supply zone that was supposed to push us over the top ended up being a distribution back down, in my opinion, is what started happening. Now, why you don't want to lose this area is because you have the appearance of an inverse pattern. If you come down much farther and work your way into that box, it ends up being like that. You turn into Banana Man. There was one more thing he said over the top, too, we were talking about. What was it? This was great advice. Most likely Wednesday London session will get a little more clarity. Tomorrow is President's Day. So all in all, nothing to pressing at the moment. And it's so true. Talked about the impulsive structure. Regardless, even a move up is still corrective. There is yet to be any clear 5-wave move up. It's so... And said one can argue a diagonal, but rare and not preferred. Bitcoin, however, has given us a 5-wave move up from the Thursday low, and XRP gave us 3. So what that means is if Bitcoin already finished out a 5-wave movement and XRP was in fact an ABC corrective, I think you can draw the conclusions of what's happening. Mrs. Stott, welcome in, love, and thank you so much for being in Tom's Army 6+ months with the XRP Predictor. I hope you and Mr. Stott are having a great start to the week. My start to the week started at about 3 a.m. I even got my hour morning workout in already in the gym at this hotel, which was nice. I was the only one in there. I may have took my shirt off this morning while I was working out. Yep. Then I got to see the imperfections because they have these big, wide fucking mirrors that'll any kind of fat you have in your stomach, and man, will it emphasize it and be like, "Look at you, fatty." No, I'm just kidding. It's not that bad. It's just well, I mean, it definitely targets it out when you have a mirror like that. I hate mirrors. I hate mirrors. I hate scales. Scales are the death of most people when they try to work out. I know. I used to weigh myself 10 times a day. No joke. And if I was off by a fraction of an ounce, I'd be like, oh my God. Anyhow, let's continue. The market this morning, I mean, it's not making me feel any better since I came on. Theoretically, though, it hasn't broke down. That's a good thing. Look at this volume here in the 15, though. What the hell happened there? So when you try to validate movements, you want to try to validate it with volume. And that 15, we had a nice volume structure. There's no doubt about that. Woo. Now, could that have quickly... Is this telling us right now that on the sell candle, listen, we had 3.08 million, and on the attempted buyback in the same time frame, so far we've had 63,000. Do you think this is going to play out appropriately? And even if it does, is this going to validate it? Or do you think that could be a problem that we have so little volume after having a 3 million sell candle in 3 minutes on H-bar? Oh, I can make it look better. In a 1 minute candle, we had 2 million. So let's see. See if we can get frisky here. And the market says, who cares? We're going to take this in stride. Or if it's just going to drop off. I could be delirious. There's that. Let's see. The only thing that sucks about waking up this early is I fast for 16 hours a day. So I can't even eat until noon. So I've already been up 3.5 hours almost, and I can't even eat for another 5.5 hours. 5 hours and 40 minutes. That is brutal. Although I'm not home, so I don't even have my protein to make, so I don't even know what the hell I'm going to eat today. Mr. Stock, good morning. Maple Man, welcome in. Thank you both, and along with Jess Send It for being in town like 6+ months with the XRP predictor. But going back to the gym stuff, I could definitely trim up some because I've been bulking up more, so I could definitely see areas to trim in. I could definitely refine my diet a little bit. I've definitely I could do that. That's for sure. And I've been thinking about it. Because if I cut now, it would be something spectacular. It would just take a little dedication going into the summer, which I'm okay with. But if I cut now with the muscle I put on, it would look pretty spectacular. Oh, boy. It's not spectacular is the market. Oh, what's that? Just understanding volume portfolio? We knew that was a fake out. Who could have seen that coming initially? Unless this is just a liquidity squeeze, but that's another reason why you have to pay attention to volume. Look at the the sell volume in the 3 minute, right? It was 3 million and it dropped it down, and then it supposedly ate it all up with 67,000, which was a fake out. That's a perfect example in the 3 minute. Does that make sense, everybody? Better go grab some Haze before breakfast is over. I wish. My breakfast doesn't start until noon, buddy. But yeah, the market's starting to go. Almost on cue. Almost on cue. So think about it. If you're sleeping in the USA, you wake up and you didn't even know we had any kind of positivity. Yeah. It's amazing. Now the USA is waking up. They're like, I'm getting out of all this. At least initially. XRP starting to dive down. We identified this pattern that even if it's a neutral continuation and it doesn't break down, we'd have to come test that lower level. But being a neutral continuation pattern, it would suggest to me that we might end up finding ourselves much lower, much quicker. This is not going to be fun for anybody if this plays out. I can promise you're going to hate President's Day in 2026 if this plays out. On Ethereum, you're looking at as much as 25% down. Not immediately, but as much as 25% down. Was that Ethereum when we were talking about that scenario? Oh, yeah. If you're talking about a descending wedge trying to play out in Ethereum and force this bullish instead of bearish, let me draw this out better so you can see kind of my thesis that I'm trying to create within my own head. And we got a perfect rejection here, so we don't even need to act like it's bullish right now. It's got a perfect rejection. Unless, what the hell? Unless this retakes this and we get over 2012, the technical target down is going to get you, it's going to get you lower. It's going to get you lower. Even this bear flag gets you down into this 1800 range. This kind of a setup, though, I think I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to give us benefit of the doubt so it doesn't have to be as big of a technical drop if it does drop out. Just something I do sometimes. It's not because I don't think we can't go farther. I like to see the closest to the farthest. So, I mean, shit, even if you do it like this, that's a steep drop. I mean, even that gets you down to 1730. Ha! You know, sometimes the technicals just make me laugh. And the people who say they don't matter absolutely makes me laugh. Look at this support when it dropped. And now look at the technical drop. Hold on. I want to make sure that that is accurate. That is pretty accurate. Oops. Gotta make sure that hits that. This is important because I want to see if this is actually going to form a slightly lower low, which is what you definitely want to see compounded with that first drop. We want to see a lower low to show strength. Clear out all that shit. It's close. It is freaking close, that's for sure. That's a little too high. Perfect. Yeah, that you can't make that up. So 1738 on the drop, and then this is about 1730 on this technical target down if this plays out. You can't even make that up. That would double bottom there too if it held. That you can't even make this up. And then assuming where it lays out, oh, this is where it gets fun. Assuming how this plays out, imagine if it did play there. Oh boy, that would be like oh boy. Imagine this plays out, right? And this could be interesting. One could say we're working our way up a shit's creek without a paddle. I mean, look how this plays out over time. That is the epitome of a descending triangle of this world. Oh, shit. In theory, Bitcoin could go, or Ethereum, if it did play down, which is why you're hopeful that it does break up here if you don't want this to happen. It could go 1730, 2002, just to come back down and break. So basically, you'd go down to 1730, all the way back up to 2000, or maybe somewhere over here at 1975, get the rejection. And then if you lost this, if it was a descending triangle, the technical target, now look at the size of that freaking bear flag, if that's a bear flag. And we're just projecting it. We're just talking. No one's saying it's going to happen. Don't get yourself in panties in a bunch right now. We're just talking. Again, you can't make it up. That's our target from in 2025 when we hit a bull market top. Unbelievable how close that is. I mean, look at that. Fucking A. This was like 3 something. Let's just put it there. I don't even care. That's close enough. I think it was 304. Oh, wait a minute. We can't just say fuck it. The whole reason I did that, there was a reason. Shit. Look at me. Oh, screw it. Yeah, okay, Tom. The whole point of that was because we were going to come back here and test this area. So we came down, up, back down, shot up. I suppose I could give it a little bit of leniency. How about here? What if I give it some leniency? No, I don't want to give it leniency. That was the action moment. That is so creepy. That is so funny how that, not funny, but it's ironic how it played out. Wow. Wow, that is so weird. Here, I'll lower this. I'll put it within the margin of error, at least for now. We'll just put this here. Maybe people won't feel so bad if it's at 490 instead of 390. I'll put it to where I think it would have to come back, and that there's to me, a glaring gap there. And it's right around this 480 mark. So we went above, but we never came back. And it's continued on this parabolic nature until it didn't. We've talked about the 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how many rejections. And we've been talking about this since before. It's not just right now. We had this drawn out before that it could have a huge bear flag. As you can see, and we just made a micro version of it, see? So this isn't our first time we've discussed topping reversals. And now that we're almost below this, if this was a bear flag and played out, we would officially validate that thesis, and that would not be good. If that thesis is validated, that's how you come sub. Well, let's not talk about that. We'll talk about that later. Sub 100. I didn't say that. So, if you think crypto's bad now, if that played out, oh, brother. Let me tell you something, brother. You haven't seen shit yet if that plays out. What is going on here now? $1.48.3 on this chart? Man, these charts are wild. Just wild. Look at that. So 2 charts are back up to $1. Oh, 3 of them are because the XRP USD is as well. Look at that. Let's see what we got going on here in the short time. Because we didn't get any kind of follow through. Not yet. I don't know, it's kind of a spread of volume because you have the minute where you started to get a little pickup. I mean, it's not like crazy volume, but it is a little pickup volume. We'll see what we'll see this morning. I know it's 6:30 and we've been on for an hour and 17 minutes. But we will definitely see a narrative building this morning, one way or the other. What did we get up to? 151 this morning for XRP? I can't remember. What did we get to on Monday? $1.51.42. Let's see this downtrend. Because you're going to have to hit it every step of the way to see if it's validating the continuation. So basically, XRP needs to break that line. Otherwise, you'd continue that downtrend, that little bearish downtrend. We're coming up right now to try to retest this area. Could be a little flag here. We'll see. So I said you're going to find all your information this morning. Probably before the USA even wakes up. Or before they get going. Now they're starting to wake up. I can't even really measure it like that. I like that resistance over the top personally. We won't cloud it. Because this is where the pattern came up rejected. Even if you pull back here, you can see the rejection. So every time, so you have to get over this area now. So what are we working with? $1.48.6. So maybe that was maybe that could be a liquidity sweep. Get rid of some of the option plays like the leverage traders. That would be a best case scenario. H bar. Haven't really seen any kind of volume in the small time frame yet. What about VeChain? I mean, it bounced off this support area at least after a little flush. And when we started, we said that was a support structure if we hold. However, That doesn't mean we won't just go back up and get rejected again. Because right now you set this up, which it looks like a bear flag because it's symmetrical in nature. Like this is set up a symmetrical. Here, let's. I kind of like it better how it came down. I think that makes more sense. I think that's why it came down to fill this out too. Ah, man. What's that? Down at like 7.5. Let's put this here for a remembrance, just in case we do break down. We're somewhere about here. If it breaks down. I mean, that's the longer path, obviously. The shorter path would be, because that would be the entire flag that plays out. Sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes you get a quick structural breach. And it's just very small. It's just basically the size of the pennant. Which in this case, this is a bearish pennant unless it breaks out somehow. But 80 out of 100 times, if you run a simulation of this pattern, it's going to play down to at least 802. But remember, there's still that 20 times that it can break out. So unless it breaks down, don't get too demoralized. We've seen a route where it can break out. We just have to hold whatever's happening here this morning. That's all. Could be creating the shoulders here and the inverse head and shoulders. I would say out of all of them, if you're looking at XDC at least, XDC back tested this area. Now, whether or not it plays out or not is anybody's guess. But if it does play up to a C wave, I mean, you're looking up over the top. But then again, I don't know if I want to look at it that way because that... Not sure I should do this. This might piss some people off. Even myself. Ooh. That kind of snuck up on us. I think that pattern kind of snuck up on us. Ooh, we got to pay attention here. I don't think that's a flat resistance. That looks like a possible rising wedge just developed. Holy shit. Unless that's an ascending unless that's an ascending triangle. That's 379. Okay, well, maybe that is a flat top. If that's not a rising wedge and that's an ascending triangle, that could be bullish. If it's a flat top, I don't know though. It's hard for me to tell. Oh, this logged out on me. What's your guys' opinion? Does that look like a ascending triangle or a rising wedge? Remember, an ascending triangle, opposite of a descending triangle, would have a flat resistance. And then higher lows until it finally breaks out. A ascending triangle will have higher highs and higher lows until it converges into a bearish resistance and typically breaks down. That's the question. What do you guys think? I gotta log this back in. How long have I been on? Hour and 24 minutes. Didn't even charge my phone. I charged my tablet like an idiot when I was supposed to have it in my phone. Very nice. That was smart. Let's see. No messages from anybody. So they must all be sleeping still. Good for them getting some rest. see. Oh yeah, I forgot I gotta log back. Man, those lights are bright. Gotta love these lights, huh? Beautiful lights. They hurt my eyes though. My one eye. So I have my hoodie on. I like the picture I used today. Gives it that like, oh, I like the picture I used today. We kind of dug it out from like the prehistoric times. Looks like a flat on top. Kind of looks like it. Yes, it can, Oliver. That's why I'm hopeful that is a ascending triangle, because that would be a bullish continuation pattern. That's the first bit of good news I've seen this morning, honestly. Which means if we want to hold, you would just hold the integrity somewhere around 363. So even if we wanted to dump down, there's a small bit of room there. Not a ton. Not a ton. 147.99. I thought we just broke back up a little bit higher. I guess it wasn't that much higher because it did break up initially, but remember this resistance? So if you're just watching, in the shorter time frames, actually, I'm going to go from here. We created this. We need to get over that resistance. Otherwise, this is going to end up dragging us down if we can't get over this. It's like $1.48.5. It's not like I'm not asking for it to move mountains here. I'm just asking for it to get over a tiny bit higher. It's not too far away, as you can see. Very, very close. See, we have to make sure that's not a right shoulder and a bear flag. That's all. That is all we're trying to figure out here. Let's see. It's starting to form a short-term pattern, though, so now we can at least start looking at it. What does that look like? See if we can refine this just a little bit. Oh yeah, that's better. Okay. That's going to be the question. Are these forming ascending or rising? Like a rising wedge-ish or ascending triangles? So not a little higher lows. Higher resistance, like higher highs as well. Not crazy elevated, but you can definitely see an upslope here. It's at 10.19, 10.2. It's not that big of an upslope. It can be slightly upsloping. I'm just afraid that where this is at, that it's on a topping reversal there, almost like a Bart Simpson top in this. And then it put a bear flag in here. So I'm afraid that this will end up playing as a neutral continuation to the downside. You know, without the emergence of some kind of rapid volume is my fear. Same thing for XDC. Yeah, I know it could be an ascending triangle. It could in the short-term consolidation. But in order for that to even bad, we need to hold this support. And that is 363. We've given back, you know, a lot of the gains from earlier for the XDC. Even the few percent it was up this morning, we've given back about 75% of it so far because we're only up 1/3 of 1% roughly now. Garbanzo says, good morning. Love the early lives. I appreciate that, Garbanzo. And thanks for being in tons of 6+ months with the XP Predictor. Let's see. Mr. Carter, welcome in. Tony Carter, hashtag M2C, mother second choice. Thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 4 years with the XRP Phoenix badge. Greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate that. And yes, we give our thanks. We give all glory to God. We try to remember, we give thanks to, and we really do thank Yahweh, Yeshua, Emmanuel, for some that don't know, Jesus Christ in America, how they present him. The Holy One, I suppose. But I also want to make sure that we, this morning, Mighty Marcus is fighting the good fight, and he's been for quite some time. Very, very strong, very, I think, a very determined young little man. And Bearded Viking, we pray for your continued sanity, your continued perseverance, and just the ability to gain the strength and keep the strength to work the extended hours and to also look after Mighty Marcus and his fight. And he's fighting the good fight. And I pray that he'll continue and he'll be doing it with the least amount of pain possible. Amen. Can I get amen in the audience? Amen? Yes, USDT looks like a descending wedge. Descending triangle. Sorry, not a wedge. Descending triangle. I think it did this morning. Actually, I have to look at it. No. Descending wedge, yes. I was right. Descending wedge, I think, which is bullish. This looks like a bullish consolidation. If that's the case, we're going to break up, and that means that crypto's probably going down. If, in fact, this played out like this. Because we're on the breakout attempt as we speak. No question. Oh, I love the amens. Tone, good morning from Cali. Welcome in, my brother. Shola Jeffy, thanks for being in town tonight. 3+ months with the XRP Meteor. Jermaine Jefferson, about 40 minutes ago, my trading view said it was crossing $1.34. I was like, what? Huh. That's where I wish it was going. Oh, I'm in Grand Rapids right now, everybody. It's going good so far. My son's appointments for his G-Tube changes, and I believe it's 1:30 today. And then we come back tomorrow. So we'll be heading back home tomorrow at about 10:30 a.m. Get back home about, conservatively. If we leave at 10:30, we'll call it 11. If we leave at 11, about 2:30, 3 o'clock, we should be home before rush hour, which is the goal. But yeah, everything's going good so far. We have to go to his appointment still. But he's doing good right now. He woke up at 3, but he's got to be back asleep now. Nobody texted me, which means Julie and my mom are still sleeping. And it's almost 7. I got up at 3, took a shower, sat with tea for a minute. My mom woke up, went downstairs, had a smoke. I don't smoke cigarettes, but they do. And then I came downstairs after she came back, after she was ready. T went in the bed with her, and then he went back, and he likes to sleep in a little, I don't even know what you call it, a rocking style chair. And then I went down to the gym, and I worked out for an hour. I did my weightlifting. That's here at the hotel. I can't do everything I want like I can do at home, but it's definitely got enough. And then I did my short inside the gym, so you can see when I did the short this morning, it was inside the gym while I was working out, or about to work out. And then we did this live. We started this live. I don't even know what time. 5:15 maybe. I think it was about 5:15. I think there was about 45 people here, which was unbelievably awesome for that early. And now there's 83. So it makes me happy that as people are waking up, they're able to at least see this in real time. So they're not left guessing. Now with President's Day, it does leave a variable in my mind. that we could do some sneaky business. That's why I want to make sure if these are going to break down before we start to, warranted a can't win battle. I would like to see if they can reverse this morning at all. Obviously, right now it looks a little grimy. The metals market, we don't have to worry about the miners coming on today. The normal market's not going to trade because it's President's Day. So markets closed on President's. I don't even know why they call it President's Day. Fucking joke. Federal holiday that caused significant closure across U.S. financial markets. So what is that? No banks, no post office. So we continue back 9:30 a.m. tomorrow, which means there's no pre-market. There's none of that noise. Speculators will say that they got to put the money somewhere. So why not pump up crypto today? It's all going to depend on this right here. Is this breaking out? Or is this a fake out here with dominance chart? If dominance breaks out, crypto is going down. That's an easy correlation. If USDT dominance goes up, that means more people in crypto are putting their money in stable. And that's a bearish correlation to price. Not a bullish correlation. Tempa, good morning. Set apart spirit, welcome in, and thank you guys for the amen. Aurelie with the amen and Garbanzo. Maybe, man, bunch of amens in here. Love it. Totally awesome. Thank you. This is stop. As a ascending triangle time, it has played resistance support really well so far. It has. If that's an ascending triangle, it has played it really nice. That is true. I don't remember which one we were looking at. I had so many different charts. XRP is trying to prove it's not a bear flag, as I think most of the market is. Trying to prove that it's not. These ones make me a little nervous when they look like that. But, again, they're on like that Bart Simpson top, which these very well could be a topping reversal. So we have to, this is what we're going to have to make sure this morning is if these fall out or not. So far, so good. We haven't fallen out. XDC was the one with the ascending triangle or rising wedge, depending on how you want to look at it. I don't have a good feeling about this, though. I kind of feel like it's trying to warn us of almost like a inability to break out of this section. But as long as that upward support holds, even if bearish, we'd get another time. We'll see what happens. I don't want to confuse everybody this morning, but we'll see what happens. But this is how you have to measure the movements this morning. There's no other way around it. So I'm going to give my voice a rest. I don't want to overtalk. It's already been an hour and 40 minutes, and it's so early this morning. I still have to teach a class a little bit later. So we'll see how this goes. I'm XRP Future Millionaire. I appreciate each and every one of you for spending the early part of this morning with me. I don't think there's any donations or anything, so I don't have to go through and talk about all that. I appreciate the members of Tom's Army that allow me to do this content ad-free during the lives, especially because you sponsor this program by just simply being members of Tom's Army. I would love to see more members in Tom's Army as we've seen a little bit of a downturn, which is normal. The market hasn't been cooperating so much. But, yeah, one of those things. So I appreciate all of you. Thank you all so much. And I will keep you updated on my son because we got his G-tube chains and the surgeon and things like that. But this is normal. Every 3 months we do this, and nothing seems to be out of the norm this time. So hopefully everything goes smooth. And the next time you hear from me, it's going to be a blessing.